welcome to the Hunch Voice. I'm Emma, growth marketer here at Hunch, and today on the Hunch Voice, I have a very special guest with me. Previously, we've talked about the role of localization in your paid social campaigns, how it helps in delivering engaging and personalized ads that drive better results and lower costs, presenting some localized ad plays and real-life examples, but never had someone from the other side to deliver those experiences from their viewpoint. And this time, just for our audience, straight from beautiful Helsinki, I wish a warm welcome to Mr. Heiman Safeen, Senior Growth Marketer from Genero, our lovely partners. Hi, Heiman, welcome. So glad to have you here.
Hey there, thank you. Thank you, likewise.
So how are you? Tell me more about what you do, how's Genero, how's Ruokaboksi, and how do you guys manage to meet each other?
Sure, definitely. So yes, I'm Heiman Safeen. I work as a Senior Growth Marketer in Genero. I've been there for roughly 2.5 years, and I started out actually as a trainee there and worked my way up to senior level. What Genero basically is a growth marketing agency. We offer all kinds of services around growth marketing. That includes also strategy workshops and branding and design, tech, and also, of course, the digital marketing side. But we also do, of course, offline channels if our clients like to. The way we met with Ruokaboksi is that they actually contacted us as they were at a stage where they had managed to grow their business to a certain level, but they were looking to scale it up even faster, and they lacked the sort of know-how how to do that. They thought that partnering with an agency would be best for that. Of course, usually the buying process is where they ask offers from different agencies and have meetings with the different agencies. We got to pitch our ideas. I was already in the pitching phase already, working on Ruokaboksi. So looking at sort of their existing marketing initiatives and how they are present in the digital in digital channels, and then looking for the sort of low-hanging fruits of how to scale their business. And based on that, we made an offer and we had a meeting, and their mindset and the way we work, or our way of working, really sort of clicked together. And from that instant, we were already like, okay, this is going to be sort of a match made in heaven, if you could say so. They are very sort of agile and not bureaucratic, so to say. And they wanted to grow aggressively. The way to do that is simply to have no marketing budget. You would have to have a sort of flexible marketing budget, but within certain metrics, especially if you hit the targets, then not to limit your growth. And that's what Ruokaboksi wanted. And it's actually a type of case that we also enjoy working with, because that's when our creativity and know-how is best used. So yeah, that's how we got together basically. And we sort of made a roadmap of how to proceed, and started working with them in the end of 2020. But really the campaigns that we started running were in the beginning of 2021.
Excellent. And can you tell me what challenges were you facing and what motivated you to solve them before?
Yes, sure. So beginning of 2021, we started running campaigns for Ruokaboksi at a larger scale. That was before using Hunch ads, and things were working really well. What we did was we fixed their sort of tracking, and also the data that is going to Facebook, fixed that as well, and that managed to sort of scale their campaigns to a level that they hadn't seen before. And with that, we basically worked until April or so, and then the iOS update came, which sort of shook up the industry, and quite a lot of accounts saw decrease in performance due to of course tracking issues. I mean, the algorithm simply doesn't work if it doesn't get the data that it needs to work with.
Exactly.
And we saw that as well, and CPC and CPM went sort of through the roof. which basically hurt our key metric, which is the customer acquisition cost. So basically our target was to grow Ruokaboxi's business as aggressively as possible. And we had only one metric, which is the customer acquisition cost. As long as we were within their target level, we could basically scale the campaigns to as much as we want to. So we didn't have any sort of spend limits. That was sort of a really good approach. But yeah, as those challenges came, we saw that it was getting more expensive to get sort of high quality traffic for Ruokaboxi. We did a few sort of few workarounds back then before having the idea of sort of localizing the actual ads and potentially reaching more people, which worked out pretty okay. But then towards the end of the year, we saw that we weren't getting back to the sort of performance level that we were in the beginning of the year. And that's when sort of I got the idea of I had bumped into Hunch ads actually previously through LinkedIn, where I saw some posts about basically automating ad creation and also adding dynamic elements. And Smartly is also familiar to me, so I kind of knew that okay, they're competitors, and I knew what exactly the solution was about. And then I pitched to Ruokaboxi the idea of scaling the campaigns to different delivery areas and localizing the content based on that as well. And of course, Ruokaboxi has over 100 delivery areas, so that's not possible to do using any manual solutions. So that's where I.
So you needed to provide a solution to help you perform that much at scale.
Yes. So the issue was after the iOS update that even we started sort of scaling the budget. What we saw is that the reach wasn't as good as we wanted it to be, and the frequency was just going up, meaning that Facebook was just trying to target the same audience, not trying to find new ones. So sort of the reach was pretty limited, and that increased our customer acquisition cost to a level which wasn't sustainable anymore, which basically caused us to drop the budget then, and that basically means that the business grows slower. So that was the biggest challenge where we thought to work a solution around, and thought that okay, what are other options that we could work with basically to increase our reach, and also getting high quality traffic without increasing the customer acquisition cost too much.
So how did your problem approach look like before using the new approach? I mean, what did you do before Hunch?
Yeah, so before Hunch, what we did was we tested like dividing the delivery areas into a few bigger sort of areas. So not targeting just the whole area within one ad set, which we did in the beginning, and it performed really well in the beginning. But when that didn't start to work anymore, we divided it into sort of bigger areas. So having a few more ad sets, and what's it called? Optimizing the budget on the ad set level. And that worked okay, but it didn't do any wonders. So nothing really big to celebrate about, so to say. Then other things we tested out was also that they were opening new areas quite rapidly, and for the new areas we tested out targeting actually to the specific area with localized content. So those in those cases the results were really good. Like the customer acquisition cost was at a level that the sort of normal campaign, if you would say so, didn't really reach. So that's where the idea then came that okay, how about if we scale this sort of this test to a bigger level, meaning if we would have an ad set for every single delivery area where Ruokaboxi delivers meal kits too, and localizing the content as well, so it would be more engaging to people in that local area. Yeah, so that was sort of that's where the idea sort of rooted from.
Great. And how did our partnership impact your overall marketing strategy?
Yes, so what basically Hunch Ads enabled us to do was to really scale up the existing campaigns. By the way, the main objective of the campaign was to acquire new customers, so using conversions as an objective. So using Hunch Ads, we managed to break down the delivery areas into 114 different ad sets. Something we couldn't really do manually, or it would require a lot of time. And then also localizing the ads to those sort of areas using a feed, something that wouldn't be possible to do using the sort of Facebook's interface. That sort of brought in a lot of efficiencies also to our processes. So ad creation became much simpler. Instead of creating all the images, videos, and copies, and then uploading those and publishing it on Facebook, we just use the feed to do that, basically. And also adding different kinds of local elements to the ads was also now possible to do at scale, which wasn't possible before. So those were sort of the main benefits that we saw, and of course, this sort of flexibility and scale that Hunch and automation gives us makes it sort of gives us more flexibility also to test out new and wild ideas. For instance, like having an image of a city for every single delivery area, let's say a landmark which the people in that local area would recognize, and targeting that out to those local people, with the sort of hypothesis that it would of course resonate better, because they would stop at the feed, looking at that image that they recognize. Okay, this is from my neighborhood, and then after that, basically converting them then with the ad copy. So yeah, it gave us basically the flexibility to test out things that we weren't able to do before with using just Facebook's interface.
Mm-hmm. And was that overall process difficult? I mean, is it difficult to use Hunch's product? What do you think of the process? How do you actually use Hunch's product?
Good question. Yes, onboarding is required, I would say. So we've had great customer support from Hunch. So basically, the process went so that when we initiated the partnership with Hunch, we went through the capabilities of the platform and how to build the sort of feed. And then on our end, we had some ideas what we wanted to test first. We communicated that with Hunch, and then basically Hunch built a feed template for us, which we started to fill up. And then once we filled up the feed, we tested out that it actually generates the ads the way we wanted it to sort of show up to the users. And then basically from that point forward, it has been actually quite simple to use Hunch. So we have like a Google Sheet feed, which we now update ourselves, and then our designer uses the editor in Hunch to create the actual ads and adding dynamic elements there. She got some form of onboarding for that as well, so she didn't have to learn it on her own. So I would say the onboarding part is extremely crucial to get the most out of Hunch, because it wouldn't be otherwise possible. To be honest, it would require quite a lot to really understand how the platform and the feed and dynamic elements and the editor works, if you wouldn't have the customer support behind it.
So your editor is working solely. You do not have a whole design team creating each ad or ad set manually.
No, we have one designer that does it basically. So say we usually run 2 to 3 ads per ad set. Mm-hmm. And for that, we create basically 3 templates in Hunch, and our designer does that. and then we just add the assets to the feed and a Google Drive folder, and then basically Hunch pulls that in to Facebook. So it's quite efficient. Say for 114 ad sets, if we would create 3 ads per on our own, it would probably take days, maybe even weeks. But now we can do that basically in a few hours, since we have everything set up and ready already.
So you reduce the workload and the launch times.
Yes, exactly, by quite a lot. So we can, if we want to, we can basically publish 3 new ads within 2 hours if we want to.
Excellent.
To all the 114 ad sets.
And what have you learned from using localization overall?
A great question. So a few key learnings that we learned is that what sort of works on the ad level is not only localizing the image but also the ad copy. So for instance, in Finland you have different sort of ways how you address the people in those areas. In Helsinki you might use the slang word like study line, and so using sort of the local language in the copy works really well and resonates. We saw that people were actually taking screenshots of the ad and sharing with their friends, and even if they knew someone from Ruokaboksi or Genero, they shared it with us as well, that, hey, I saw this ad, it was pretty cool. And that's a sort of an effect we didn't see with any of the campaigns that we had done previously. So it performed really well. So yeah, localize not only the actual images but videos, but also the ad copy if possible. Then of course another key learning is that it's not a plug and forget approach. So it's not like you would just create the campaign, the ad set, and have a few ad templates there, and then that's it. You don't need to touch it anymore. We used Hunch for roughly 2 months, quite successfully, with the sort of initial ad templates that we had. We didn't have to actually touch them for a few months, basically. But now we're seeing the drop in performance. So we see again CPCs going up, which means, and when we dig into the data, we see that the click-through rates have gone down. So the ads are not resonating anymore as well as when we published them initially. Of course, it's not new anymore. They've seen it a few times already. So therefore, you need to have templates ready for these instances. Whenever you notice that there's ad fatigue, you just simply switch over to new templates and test out different creatives and different copies.
I really like your ads. I mean, they're colorful, they're highly engaging, and they actually show the right message at the right time to the right audience, which is actually one of our mottos. So can you tell me something about this ad? What was your intention? What was your aim when you were making it?
Yeah, so it's actually it looks like a very simple ad. We have the actual product. Like from previous campaigns, we've noticed that this image of the box with the goods and the recipe book works really well. Then we thought, like, okay, how can we use that image and also localize it on the creative side? So one dynamic element that we added was adding the actual city's name, so addressing the city, like hey Rauma in this case. And then for the other areas, it would be hey Helsinki. What we did was, actually in bigger cities, we divided the areas even into smaller areas that we knew had their own sort of community, and we addressed those with their own names as well. So that in itself, we wanted that to sort of show up in the first sort of line as a bigger copies to grab their attention, and it worked. It did stop people, and as I mentioned, people actually started sharing this and talking about this. Some even said that, hey, this is a bit too creepy. How do you know where I live? but the main thing is that it started engaging. And then the other element in this is that below the city name, it says that we're looking for couples to test out Ruokaboksi. So different segments. We had families,
Which brings us to the other ad that we're going to go through. So what's the story behind this one?
Yes, so this is one of the variations of 3 other ones as well. We had a young couple, then we had an older couple image, and then we had also an image of a family. So those are the sort of important segments for, I would say, for this client, which is why we wanted to test out localized ads to them. And these actually performed really well because people, for instance, this one is targeting young couples in Rauma. People, when they saw this and they were couples, they were actually even more engaged than the previous ad which you showed, because not only did we target them at the area that they were, but also basically resonating with the fact that, okay, they are a couple. So they were really sort of amazed by it also, like, hey, how did you do this? and it did create sort of a wow effect in those users.
Which was your goal at the end?
Which was our goal in the end, yes. So generic ads, like I mentioned at the beginning of 2021, we managed, like, with generic ads to perform really well, but then we noticed that they started losing their effects. And therefore we thought of, like, different ways how we could tailor ads to the target audience as best as possible, because there's a lot of discussion around personalized ads and personalized experiences, that people like that, and it's true. This campaign, which we've been running now for Ruokaboksi, really did prove that as well. That once we personalize the ad experience, even not like what happens after that, but the actual ads as well, it worked really well. Like, our CPCs decreased significantly, and which basically means, of course, our customer acquisition cost also dropped significantly.
And can you tell us more about these results? I mean, we have some bullets there, but I would like to hear more from you.
Yes, sure. So we have different campaigns for the client, what we're running. The main one, which uses the sort of a lion's share of the budget, is for acquiring new customers. Then we have a few also campaigns that are acquiring leads. And in the beginning, we localized the purchase campaign only. So basically the one that target is acquiring new customers. And then we rolled it out to other campaigns as well. So within one campaign, there's always 114 ad sets, as those are the delivery areas that we're currently targeting separately. And within each ad set, we have usually 2 to 3 ads running. One thing what we bumped into is the ad limit, though. Like, once we started running more than 3 campaigns, we noticed that we weren't able to actually scale on the ad level, because there's a certain limit how many ads you can push out.
And how did you overcome that?
We had to prioritize.
Okay.
So basically choosing the campaigns that are more important for us, allocating more ads to those, and campaigns that are not that are sort of lower in the priority list, we allocated less ads to those, so we would meet the sort of ad limit that Facebook sets automatically for Facebook pages. But yeah, with this basically, when we initiated the first campaign, which was the purchase campaign, localizing the ads there, we immediately saw a drop in customer acquisition cost, which was roughly 62% drop, and that was pretty staggering. Like, we hadn't seen these those figures before, except in the beginning of 2021, when we initially started scaling their campaigns. But then yeah, after that, it had never reached those low levels again. So that was really cool to see, and it sort of proved our hypothesis of localization and personalization. It's something that you should put effort into, as it can really drive good results.
You guys are really our heroes when using localization to its full potential. I mean, you not only leveraged location, but also dynamic cities, dynamic age groups, dynamic different copies. So can you tell me more about what Genero does? What are your future plans? What can you bring to your audience, to your clients?
Yeah, so Genero works in the Nordics area, growth marketing agency, and we are aiming to, like, we're growing really fast, and our aim is to be the best growth marketing agency in this region. We serve clients in different industries, B2B, e-com, consumer packaged goods, brands, and SaaS also has been now new clients coming from that as well industry, and it's in our DNA to sort of growth is in our DNA. So when our clients grow, we grow as well, and that's sort of the basis of our value proposition. And of course, growth can mean different things for different clients. Like you might have B2B clients for whom leads are important, so that's then the metric that we look at. Then for e-com clients, it can be acquiring new customers or increasing revenue by optimizing lifetime value as well. And then for some, it can be just simply increasing also organic traffic to their site. So for instance, consumer packaged goods brands, for them, we have a few cases where we increased their visitors from some 100,000s to a few millions using SEO only. So that's sort of our main thing, what we focus on. We are very data driven and very ambitious with what we want to achieve, and it has shown also in our own key metrics. We are like, we know that when the pandemic hit the world, there were quite a few marketing companies and agencies that didn't do well. It did not really hit us. In fact, it was the opposite. We were growing faster even then, because it was even more important for companies to focus on growth marketing and not just looking at sort of some generic metrics. And that's where we sort of stand out. We can basically in different industries reach our clients' targets with whatever sort of their need has been, and that's through the sort of growth process that we take. We have sprints with our clients, and then we also of course share knowledge within our team. So there's a lot of things we test out internally, and then we share that knowledge, and we can basically use that then for other clients as well. So that's sort of us, and where we're heading to is currently growing in the Nordic markets, and of course after that also other international markets as well.
So Nordic brands, you know who to call to.
Yes, exactly. And also international brands that want to do business in Nordics.
Of course. Great. Thank you, Heiman, for sharing your amazing experience with us and inspiring other brands to follow the same. And if you guys are interested at how the whole story went, check out our full case study with Genero in the link below. And as their saying is, keep on growing. And also make sure to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more content. Follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our weekly newsletter for more new content every week. And see you next time.